Hello, hi everyone. I'm thrilled to be welcoming Surekha and Harish. Their baby is about 3 months old now, and it was my honor and my joy to be by their side when they welcomed the little one. So I'm looking forward to this brief conversation with you to hear what your experience was about having a doula for your birth.
Thank you, Neha. So happy to be here and so happy to do this for you. I think we're still new parents, right? So if we're taking the time out to be here, then you must already know the kind of impact you've had. So I'll share a little bit, and then maybe Harish can add to that. Um, let me tell you what. So I've had this conversation with a lot of my friends about my birth, and the only thing that I tell them now is I think I can birth 100 times because that's how empowering my experience was. And I'm very, very sure that if not for you and the place that I'd chosen to birth, mine would have been a C-section for sure. It took a while for him to like descend and like come out. Before you joined us, I remember telling Harish that this is it. I can't take this anymore. Please take me to an operation theater and just get this baby out of me. I mean, that's where I was. And then you walked in with your beautiful smile. And then I was like, why is Neha smiling so much? Like I'm in so much pain, right? But I think the demeanor and what you chose to tell me and how you talked me through it. I think one line that I very clearly remember is Neha, that made a difference for me during my labor was that you said you always have an option of C-section. Why don't we try this for a little bit longer? Right, if we have to go with the C-section route, that is anyway going to happen. And just that little hope and that little encouragement from your side, I think really, really, really saw me through. And just your presence and the way you like identified, okay, I might need, at what point you'd actually like give me options, I think all of that really mattered in how the outcome was for me. And I still very vividly recollect the way I birthed Ishan on my fours and on the bed. I know I've mentioned this to you before, and I've not shared this with too many people, but I felt like a freaking lioness, uh, very primal, very, very connected to myself when I birthed him. So I think that should explain the kind of experience that I've had.
Yeah, I'm so happy to hear this because I think that is how every woman deserves to have that feeling at some point in labor. That doesn't mean labor is going to be easy. As you said, it was super hard, but that little bit of a feeling of really being strong is so important. And sometimes you just need people around you to remind you, to bring you to that perspective. Otherwise, it gets lost in the all the noise. So I'm so happy to hear that.
Absolutely.
You, of course, were amazing. There's no doubt about that. I mean, that's I'm just a cheerleader.
I'm very sweet of you to say. So, Neha, I think, although natural birth was always on my mind, right? After meeting you, for the first time in that coffee shop, I think I was very open to the idea of having a non-medical birth as well. So until then, I was like, okay, maybe I'll do the epidural, maybe I'll do the laughing gas. That will like help me with managing the pain. But after having met you, I was like very open to trying a very non-invasive, um, as close to a natural birth as it could be, and which is what ended up happening on that day. I didn't need an epidural. I didn't need um, the laughing gas either. So
Yeah, sometimes all you need is a little inspiration.
for sure,
You need to believe that that's doable. Yes, sometimes the situation demands that
hmm,
you take up some intervention, some support, and that also is one way of doing it. But you shouldn't go in assuming that
correct,
I will need something. I'm glad
absolutely.
that you picked up on that.
Yeah, yeah. Harish, do you want to add
Thank you.
Yeah. So for me, Neha, this whole Doula support, I'm very new to this whole concept. I've never heard about it, and when I heard about it, and then after reading about it also, I think from where it started supporting me was when you did a session that really helped me, because it actually gave me information of what is required for me. It didn't overdump me with information. It made me prepared how much I should be prepared, I think, because I knew you were going to be there anyways in the uh, during the labor process. So that from that point, I think my confidence started building, because me during my childhood and all of that, I used to be very scared of blood. And for me, hospital and all of that as an experience itself, it's very like it's not a very pleasant thing according to me. But on the contrary, it was completely different when the whole birthing happened. And during the whole labor process and all of that, I think I was not second guessing or thinking what to do. You were always there telling this can be done, this is possible, and at every point it really helped to move forward. And generally, I hear people tell me during the labor process, it's like the time is not moving, but I could actually see the time move, and I could actually see progress happen. So I think that was really good as an experience for me as well. So yeah, when we met you, there was that certain connect or the vibe we felt, which made it very, very, very comfortable. One thing really made sense was that uh, it is very natural to have birth. It's
Birthing is a
yeah,
non-medical event.
yeah, it's a very natural event which has been made medical over time, where it should have been just for like helping. Instead, it became the way of doing it. And for it to be at least try being non-medical, I thought whatever support we had is always the best, right? To get every support possible, and I think that way it really helped.
I just want to add to this, Neha. I think for me personally, right, having you by my side, it felt like my team was bigger in that room, right? I did have like midwives supporting me. I did have the gynecologists, checking me from time to time. But you and Harish felt like my team, like my people. Like I know that, no matter what, you will not compromise on how the care has been given. So that sort of like enabled me to like not think and just focus on like pushing the baby out, which I think is extremely important when it comes to like the success of a natural birth. Um, just being able to like not think and just focus on like doing your job. So,
A lot of people struggle to understand the worth of the service because it costs money. So people, wonder whether it's worth spending that money. You have any inputs, any thoughts on that?
if I were to like really say this from like a money perspective, I'm going to be speaking about my case, right, or my situation. If not for you, maybe I would have had like a epidural, which is also money. Maybe I would have also opted for laughing gas, which is also money. So I don't think um uh, and and I feel the recovery after a natural birth without any intervention, like even an episiotomy, is a lot more faster. And for me, if a doula can enable that, right, I think the services are priceless. Um, that's my perspective. I mean, if you're able to like take me through a journey where it's as close to uh, the natural way of doing it, then yeah.
Yeah, and I would say even your emotional well-being. That is also something you are investing in, right? You're not only investing in the normal birth, because your emotional well-being after the birth is as important for yourself, for the baby, for your family. So yeah, thank you for trusting.
Of course, you made the trusting very easy.
I'm glad. I'm grateful. Any last words for people who might be watching?
So I think uh, the doula support, especially for the dads, right, the expecting dads, I think especially during labor, it helps in going into the zone of just being present. and not going to the zone of anxiety or thinking, which itself makes it much easier, I feel. And the moment when the baby is born, that's like a very precious moment that you want to be present instead of being, like anxious and all over the place. I think comparing that to the money, I think it can't match. So yeah.
Yeah, I love how you
Yeah.
put that. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, Neha.
Thank you, Neha. So happy that we could do this.